Welcome back to reading number 30 from Jonnie Fazoolie and the Transfinite Reality Engine. I am your host of the No Hair All Heart podcast, taking over, doing readings. Today, fighting solves everything. The prof drives headlong into Jonnie with focused effort and enormous force. Timeless for another instant, they are entwined, Casey's face thrust into Fazoolie's recessed sternum, a snug fit. Amaranth then breaks into an impressive series of 1-2 punches at Jonnie's inelastic stomach, kidneys, spleen, and bladder, a relentless barrage that induces convulsions. The onslaught hurls Jonnie backwards, slamming him into a file cabinet. He collapses onto the floor, an avalanche of folders, books, trophies, and memorabilia pummeling and covering him. His black cat with white mittens, BS, is still perched on the bookshelf across from them, staring blankly at the scene below, tail undulating as it did before like an indifferent metronome. Casey stands over the mound of paper and plastic as it simmers for several seconds, then stirs. A few items slide away to reveal Jonnie's blonde and battered head, peering out with hesitation. "Did I say something?" asked Jonnie, knowing the answer. He's made a career of sweet-talking himself into and out of one calamity after the next. So far, so bad. Wait, is he bleeding? "You did," replies Casey, settling back down into the chair, cracking knuckles, stretching body and neck. The prof didn't break a sweat, 0 boost in blood pressure. I responded. "You certainly did." "I certainly did," almost grinning. "Anything to add?" "Achoo!" The sneeze reverberates through Jonnie's battered head as he yells in agony and dejection beneath the pile as another salvo of blunt objects plummet onto his prostrate body. "Bless you." "My bad," says Jonnie, creeping out and stepping over the office debris as if he were naked and extricating himself from a hot tub. "Let's say you're the first non-binary lesbian I've ever met, dig?" "First non-binary lesbian you've ever met." "Right on." "Meow," says the cat, as if signaling tacit cessation of hostilities. "Meow," repeats Jonnie, his ham-fisted and scatterbrained attempt to sympathize with Casey's involuntary mimicry by voluntarily mimicking Casey's involuntary mimicry a total fail. The prof couldn't care less, fidgets back to twitches, staring at the unwashed walls again. Casey is as relieved to stop beating up Jonnie as Jonnie is relieved Casey has stopped beating him up. Safe from Amaranth's wrath, at least for the moment, Jonnie brushes himself off and runs his long, bony fingers through his frayed and frazzled hair. He's deserved worse and gotten it. His whole body hurts, but he can't tell if due to the beating he just deservedly received or the early withdrawal from the extremely dangerous drugs he's recently quit. Time will tell. He stands there for a few moments, uncertain what to do, a rare state. Insulted after being assaulted, he wants to throw the candidate out, even though he knows he deserved what he got. Maybe not this response, but he had it coming. Besides, he likes working with get it done people, even if getting it done involves kicking his ass. The immediacy and transparency are cool too. Jonnie also acknowledges that systemic racism, misogyny, and homophobia persist, but he's too selfish, greedy, and self absorbed to do anything about them, let alone care. Far as he's concerned, being born white, male, mostly straight, and moneyed, no matter how ill begotten, have bestowed numerous advantages, all of them offset by his shitty personality. Yet, if anyone is blind to race, gender, sex, and social status, that's Jonnie Fazoolie, whose trouble with people like Casey isn't his implicit biases, but his explicit obsession with getting attention. Today's backlash to the backlash of the woke era doesn't get Jonnie off the hook. Not because he isn't a bigot, but because he loves to annoy all people all the time, any and every way he can. That enables Jonnie to avoid the politicians' games while still benefiting from the mass confusion. By making every joke all about himself, he laughs at everyone else's expense and patience. If nothing else, hustling within the current American age of grievance has presented more opportunities for a guy like Fazoolie to capitalize on his mark's many dissatisfactions. Pandemic over, the Ivy League and Feds doged, the Dow hyperventilating from the tariffs. The only game Americans have left to play is to gradually destroy themselves from within. Polarization and tribalism make his targets easy prey. His zodiac sign Gemini, not that it means anything. Jonnie morphs into any persona or character people want him to be, often that of victim. The demise of the right, hastened by foreign disasters and spending alongside the failure of the left, identity politics superseding working class needs, created a void Fazoolie fills. Neither liberal nor conservative, Democrat nor Republican, Jonnie defaults to a licentious libertarian, a hedonistic nonconformist who believes in personal freedom, his own. Brilliant at identifying people's desires and vulnerabilities, he sucks at creating any genuine connection. Maybe that's why instead of providing real value, he resorts to a life of lies. That perverse strategy has gotten him this far by feeding off social media fueled hypercompetitiveness and hysteria. Jonnie is a sign of his times, a symptom of ailments far deeper and dire. Is America perfect? No. Is Jonnie Fazoolie? Hell no. But they're both demonstrably better than most think, and in bizarre ways are hyperbolic and revealing reflections of themselves. His social media persona is, of course, an exaggerated exaggeration of all things Fazoolie, a viral phenomenon that has yet to catch on, a weirdo even weirdos don't understand. That's a problem for Fazoolie and another opportunity for the trolls on X to feed off of the disintegrating U.S. underbelly, especially younger males disenfranchised by liberal democracy. Jonnie isn't intimidated by women and their ascendancy as long as he can get laid and keep moving. Narcissist, yes. Sociopath, not so much. He's a selfish bastard with a heart of 8-karat gold. Sadly, the same can't be said for the reactionary, opportunistic fanatics and ideologues on both sides, whether faux Nietzschean authoritarian fetishist or post-Marxist egalitarian accelerationist. Old Fritz preferred polytheism to monotheism, reveled in the creativity and amorality of the Übermensch, a prescient lens given our digitally native Kultur and virality Weltanschauung. Postmodern nihilism can only go so far without the new left to eviscerate and reciprocally fuel. Contemporary America, at its core, is a spoiled, rotten cat chasing its own infinitails. Somewhere between the exaltation of strength, virality, hierarchy, and ancient glory, and radical socialism, identity erasure, anti-capitalism, and class entropy is clueless Jonnie Fazoolie. Even assholes get second chances. Democratization of selfishness and greed. Having lived more lives than his feline has yet to lose, he needs this latest scam to fly, or he's totally fucked. Hatscho! Gesundheit, Überfasul. Thieves are obsessed with getting ripped off, and social media influencers can't stop thinking about the popularity of everyone else. Jealousy is the most useless emotion and most addictive. Jonnie looks at himself in a wall mirror, Casey in it too, doubling them both up. He remembers a character in a short story who hated mirrors because they multiplied the number of people. Dr. Amaranth Casey Floyd, 1. Jonathan Fazoolie Jr., 0. Still 8 more rounds to go, contingent on staying in the ring. Never a dull moment, Jonnie dives back in, ignoring the odds. Propping his Best Buy CEO swivel chair back up, Jonnie sits back into it. Rebooting the interview, at least in his own mind, he opens the desk drawer and pulls out a pair of fake Cubans. Have a cigar? He asks Dr. Floyd, seeking rapprochement with his recruit. Segue into a refractory period after getting seriously fucked. You're gonna make it if you try. They're gonna love you. No, replies the savant, seeking egress from the premises. You mind if I do? Winks Jonnie, twirling his Castro cosplay. Yes, says the prof, inscrutable behind those sunglasses. Thanks. Jonnie lights up anyway and blows smoke rings for a few moments, watches them float across the room. They reveal rays of sunlight, shafts cutting through the office's dirty window. Dr. Amaranth Floyd wheezes, dispersing the bluish cigar smoke with fidgeting and fluttering hands. Fazoolie removes a small battery-powered electric fan from a desk drawer and turns it on. The angle is just right to propel the smoke into the doc's face, inducing convulsive coughing and choking, sending his prize candidate into a corner to struggle for a breath of fresh air. Oops, says Jonnie, leaving the fan on. From the same drawer, he removes a can of disinfectant spray, which he disperses in frenetic, wrist-twisting arcs, making himself convulse too. Opening the small office window is a rare good idea and occurs to him too late. Another good idea that doesn't occur to him at all is to stop smoking his cigar, taking it back up after sitting back down. BS vanishes in a rising cloud of stogie smoke, then leaps down from the shelf, landing on Fazoolie's desk. Hi there. The three of them stare at each other as if answering a question never asked. Undaunted, Casey removes an N95 from deep within their afro, reassuming its shape as the prof puts the mask on. The scene reminds Jonnie of the pandemic, pockets lined with fake PPP. Speaking of systemic hashtag racism, why are those masks usually white? Jonnie also remembers seeing his first colored band-aids as a kid, then gradations of thumbs up emojis. Card-carrying member of the privileged majority, Jonnie craves being a wigger minority. He adores kinky curls, wondering what else Casey keeps up in there, wanting his own enormous afro. How was your pandemic? He asks, considering it apropos. I almost died, responds the prof. High BMI and high risk. So did I, nods Jonnie, his Marfan syndrome super high risk. Right on. Right on. Meow. Thanks for listening. More to come. I'm trying a new headset microphone as I try to get better at these readings. It's good practice. I'm also setting up, as I mentioned, the Audible recording of the whole damn book. So let's see the quality of this recording, see if my readings are getting a little bit better. And hopefully soon I'll be ready to lay it all out. Google says the reading of 113,000 words takes a reader about 6 to 8 hours. But when you're reading it out loud and listening, it's a whole different ball of audiobook, as it were. I have a feeling it'll probably take me at least 3 solid days to do this, but it's eminently worth it. And alongside, I'll keep doing these one-offs, as I mentioned. This is all so much fun. Hopefully, I can also pay the rent this month. We are working hard, folks. And hopefully, you are enjoying. Next up, let's see what happens with Jonnie and Casey. Spoiler alert.